Hey, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk, Real People, Real Estate with Haven Realty Group. I'm here with Darlene Baxter. She is your insurance expert. And Kyle, who's a right-hand team at Haven.
Hello.
And, with all these fires and insurance, it getting insurance when people are buying a property almost used to be an afterthought, right, Darlene? It'd be like, oh, get your utilities and call your insurance broker.
Yes,
Now it's like, we do it first thing because
yes.
everything has changed. So I'm going to let Darlene go start about how things have changed. We'll pepper her with questions. I'm sure you're going to have questions that I can put you in contact with Darlene to answer directly. But let's go ahead and get started. I've been really excited about this because we're in Southern California and it comes up. I just ran a property in Mission Viejo, which you wouldn't think is in a high fire zone, but they're next to a wide open space and it's a fire zone.
Yep. Not
So
only
it's
that, we don't
really
even have fire season anymore. It's just year round.
right. And
Right.
Kyle's in Murrieta.
Yep.
So you're surrounded by fire zone
Yeah, I'm basically the desert that they've,
built on.
built on and, got agriculture going and, wineries and stuff like that. So it gets dry.
Put the fires out with all that wine.
That's right.
If it's in a canyon, that's a big problem. So like,
Oh, good to know. In the
depending on what's
canyon.
going around, but those canyons, as you can see, just go right
They
through
blow
the
right
fire.
through. Well, that's what happened in Laguna. It went up that canyon
Right.
to Laguna Niguel.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
fun. I had just closed a condo right next to where that fire started like a week before.
Oh,
Yeah, and they were
yeah, that's
watching
rough.
it from Montage across the street.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, fires are
Well,
bad.
let's get started. I'll just introduce myself. I'm Darlene Baxter. I'm a farmer's agent. I'm licensed in California. I write primarily homeowners insurance. That's basically what I focus on. And I'm available 7 days a week. I hand out my cell phone. I
He
have
works like
email.
we do.
I can run quotes for real estate agents for the contingency, whether they're selling, buying, whatever needs to be done. Um, it's true the crisis did start about 3 years ago, and it's just historically gotten a little worse because of the fuel, the water situation, and the age of the homes. There's many different things going on right now with the fires and how the insurance companies, and it even goes back further where the policies haven't been priced correctly for almost 20 years because we're regulated through the Department of Insurance. So there's a lot of that
You
going on.
told me something about that.
Yes, yes. So there's a lot of different scenarios that are making this kind of just a huge situation and why many companies have pulled out of the state. The State Farm, right? They couldn't get correct pricing because they couldn't get a large enough rate approval for it to be correct. So they decided just to stop writing.
Okay, so what happened to people that had State Farm and all of a sudden they're just canceled? Then what did those people do?
Well, they weren't just canceled. So State Farm just stopped writing new business.
Okay.
And then if there was too much saturation in one area, like Maui, State Farm had most of those homes insured. So if they're
Really?
oversaturated in an area, they were starting to like, hey, we can no longer insure your property because of this reason. Usually it was the fuel, right? But down in LA, it was the fuel and the fires. I mean, and the water. There was that was brought up many, many times. So homeowners were given months and months and months of headway that, hey, we're not going to renew your policy. So
Wow.
they were pretty much referred to the Cal Fair Plan. So there's a lot of California Fair Plan policies, which max out at 3 million total coverage.
Which is not a lot in Southern California.
No, no. So homeowners are left with self-insuring and not enough coverage. I mean,
Very
that was a
expensive.
huge problem.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Sometimes the fair plan is less than a standard policy that you could get from farmers. So it's always nice to have that option. And I write a lot of fair plans. So I'm very well versed. I'm very involved with the fair plan. I myself grew up by Yosemite, so everyone's on the fair plan. So I don't have anything bad to say about the fair plan, and they did cover all the claims.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that was a big concern for them. But yeah. what questions would you like me to answer about the FAIR plan maybe, or?
See, I don't know anything about the FAIR plan.
There's a
So
lot of misinformation about the
is it
FAIR plan. People
competitive?
they think it's a state-run policy, and it's not. It's just like
They
any other.
immediately think covered California.
Right, exactly.
And if you go on their website, good luck. You're going to be there all day.
Yes.
It's insane.
Yes. So you
Anything
can
with
always
the
reach
state.
out to me about questions with the FAIR plan if something comes up, because you don't know what you don't know to ask. But it's a very It's a very simple application. It's a drop down. It's like an a la carte policy. I go in and I put what coverages you want. It's fire and wind only. And then we get it's pretty much a fast turnaround. I have to have timestamp pictures. I put in the application. I put the pictures in, and then I get the application back right away. And then the client always has to pay 2 months up front. Even if the mortgage is paying, and then that extra money is in their escrow account and they can get refunded from their mortgage, or they just keep it in their escrow.
Okay, but question. So you said fire and wind only. What about contents?
I don't think so.
If it's a fire. So you have personal property, you have
but not robbery.
But what?
Robbery?
That's going to be your DIC policy. So farmers will offer a DIC policy. Sometimes people call it a wrap. And then you can bundle that with your autos if you want, or I can go outside of farmers and get a different option as well.
Interesting. Okay. Because that's different. Now, one thing I know you told me, it's been a while since we talked, but it matters on the date that you apply, because I think you told me they only write so many in a month, and then it goes like to third party. So can you explain that?
So farmers has a cap on how many homeowner policies can be written. And that was a big problem probably the last time I spoke to you.
Yes.
Since then, it has totally cooled down and hasn't been a problem. But
okay, good.
But as of last month, we almost capped out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen that for like 8 months.
Well, the market's finally heating back up.
Yeah, we're starting to write a lot more farmers homes because farmers has broadened their horizons. So about 3 months ago, farmers said, oh, we're open for business. I'm like, we've been open for business the whole time. What does that mean? What that means is they're willing to take on more risk. So some of those homes that we couldn't write before, we're writing now with farmers. Like,
now, why the change?
It's some sort of agreement made with the Department of Insurance. Everything that we do, everything any insurance company does has to get approved or disapproved by the Department of Insurance. So everything that State Farm's going through is battling it out with the Department of Insurance. So there's deals being made. So farmers had to make some sort of deal, was approved rate increases, and said, okay, if you're going to get the rate increase, you got to write more policies in the high risk areas. So we're one of the only really big names in California writing fire right now.
Wow.
So, yeah. So if you guys need anything, if any of your team, anyone, anywhere needs something, Ask Patty can tell you I'm around. I give out myself. So I made some business cards that have a QR code that will take you directly to my landing page where a client can put their information in, and then it'll email me and I can get a quote.
Would you put that? Oh, would you put that link in the chat?
Yeah, I sure will. Let me.
Okay, my other question here was roofing. So I would imagine most of the old shingle roofs are gone now.
Yeah, your roof, even the age of your roof. So
let's talk about that real quick.
We've always been told that, you can get a roof and it's good for 40, 50 years. Not true anymore. These insurance companies are really like almost wanting 12 to 15 years max. It's just
really.
I know. So if you want to be a roofer, now's the time.
Well, I just, when we had the last rains, I texted all my past clients. I'm like, go walk your house, check for leaks.
It's the number one claim. Everyone thinks it's a fire. No, the number one claim in California with farmers is water. Right? And water is not a covered loss on a homeowner's policy unless it's sudden and impactful. A toilet backs up, a pipe bursts, right? So
explain that. Look at Kyle's face. Run that by us again. He's like, wait, what?
Water is not a covered loss on any homeowner's policy in California unless it's sudden and impactful. So a toilet backs up and goes all over your house. I've had these claims. They're horrible. Cheap toilets out there being installed by the home builders right? They aren't flushing the toilet. So about a year into it, you'll get it back up. Okay. Or you come home and there's a pipe that's burst and there's water spraying everywhere.
My mom and her husband came home to 6 inches of water from a vacation one year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See? So a drip, a leak, that's maintenance.
Always turn off your washer, your water to your washing machine.
So a water leak detector is becoming a thing in California. Flow mowing.
Oh, there's a commercial on that.
Flow mowing has the automatic shut off, which is what you would want in that situation because it shuts it off.
Oh, that's good to know.
Water damage is just as bad as fire. So we're requiring water leak detectors on homes that are 30 years or older. Okay. And new builds have to have them. That's been a thing for 5 years.
So the new build toilets suck.
Yeah.
Wow. Good to know too.
Yeah.
We've been walking a lot of new construction.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say my new, my house is 5 years old, a little over. And I wouldn't say the toilets are the greatest.
Yes.
But they haven't failed on me yet, although one has been running. And I got that fixed pretty quickly. But going back to the whole water issue and the roof. So so where is the warranty for a roof leak? You have a new home and it has, the updated
well, let's use a 5-year-old home like yours.
Some type of, what's that?
Let's use a 5-year-old home like yours.
Yeah.
And now you have a roof failure in a heavy rain.
Yeah. So where's the coverage or does it have coverage?
A home warranty.
At 5 years?
You could get a home warranty every year, right?
I always suggest people renew their home warranty. But what would the insurance cover that?
Well, so it would depend on what caused the loss. So if you have a healthy roof, it's 5 years old and still in good condition, it's not worn from the sun or worn from weather or just falling apart, and something caused the wind came up and you had like really strong winds and it blew off some parts of your roof and water got in, yeah, that would be covered. Sudden and impactful. But if your roof is 25 years old and it's completely worn out
and you just have a leak,
that's a maintenance issue. Any maintenance issues are not covered. So you really should pull out your washer. You really should pull out your refrigerator once or twice a year just to make sure there's no leaks. This home ownership.
Yeah, I just did a home inspection at a large property in Laguna and had the owner address 2 maintenance issues. There would have hardly been any damage other than termites. It was the worst termite report I'd ever seen in my 14 years. But not storm drain,
the rain gutters.
The rain gutters.
Yes.
Caused water to go under the house. If they'd had the rain gutters, and it caused, to the point, there's dirt underneath, old property built in the 40s. And it caused expansion and contraction with the moisture and cracks in the roof of the front houses. That would never have happened. And then the other thing was the dryer was not vented properly. And it caused all this moisture under a large stairwell. And that was a significant repair.
Yeah.
But in such simple things.
You're right. Yes.
It's not a bad idea to walk your home every few years with an inspector or a good handyman. And I have both that I can refer, but just to keep an eye on, especially somebody maybe like me that's not so handy. Kyle's pretty handy. And I try to remind my clients too that you need to keep an eye on this kind of stuff and keep your home warranty in place.
Yeah, your home warranty is a major player, and people mix that up with the insurance a lot.
Totally.
I do have some information on the difference. I think I put it on my social media, but I can send that to you if you want to include it in a newsletter or something like that. Yeah. But the rain gutters are a big problem. So you do always want to make sure that there's not leaves and whatever could be in there, debris, you know what I mean? So 5 feet is the rule now. They don't want anything touching the roof or within 5 feet. So if you have a tree, make sure it's 5 feet up. That's going to be every insurance company.
Up and away.
That's becoming a really, 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 they're watching that with the drones and the Google Earth and all that. They are keeping an eye on the homes now. They do not want debris at all. So if you would be surprised how many people have cars in their backyard. Like you would be shocked. I didn't know there
And
was
it's
that
a
many.
fire hazard.
Oh, it's you. They won't insure you. Yeah. So you want to
Wow.
really make
So
sure
what are
you're
they doing
picking
with
up
the
your yard.
drones?
What's that?
What are they doing with the drones?
They're just going over and taking pictures of the roof, the trees, and the backyard.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And the inspection teams are third party. The insurance company can't send their own inspectors out. So it's always a third party. So you always want to make sure you're keeping, we're
Arm's
going
length.
back to the maintenance of your house. Have home ownership pride or pride home, well, you'd say that, but yeah.
Now let me ask you this. What about RVs? Because, okay, so I've been looking for a client in Norco, and there are tons of vehicles in the backyards. What about RV parking? Like he has 3 RVs he needs to store. What happens with that?
I don't
Is there
know.
a
I have
rider?
never had that issue, but I mean, I guess if there's the allotted space for that, it probably wouldn't be a bad thing as long as they're in good shape, right? But if they're just in the backyard, yeah, I don't know.
And maybe if it's cleared versus overgrown.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
But
And
the
they've
insurance
actually,
company wouldn't know that until they saw it with a drone.
they're even
Yeah.
starting to have bad feelings about wooden fences. They don't want the wooden fence going up to the house. So they want 5 feet of a different type of material once it gets to the house. That's every house in California has a wooden fence, you know what I mean? So if you're going to redo a deck or redo a fence, make sure you're getting different type of material because they really don't
And
like
there
wood.
are a ton of them out there now, and they last way longer than wood.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, mine's some type of plastic composite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. You're definitely right.
My brother's a fire sprinkler contractor, and he has always brought up to Cal Fire, why not put systems on top of roofs?
Right.
But they would never do the process or the requirements. It would have been a game changer in LA. And then
For
also
sure.
I heard talk of some kind of fire deterrent, almost like a sprinkler around the property in a fire. Like, so it's shooting out away from the house to keep the fire away. There's so many things that could be done that aren't being done.
Yeah.
Do you know of anything in the works that, as far as prevention?
I have not heard anything about that at all because it's the ambers that are flying through the air and landing in the trees.
And going in through vents. But at least I remember seeing that one house where those 2 guys were looking out the sliding glass door. It was all over social media, and the fire is just blowing just right by them.
Yes.
They were trying so hard to, and I think they actually saved that property. But I mean, it would never suggest anybody stay. My grandparents stayed. Oh my gosh, that fire out in Apple Valley on the backside of Big Bear, we stayed through that, and it was the scariest thing ever.
Yeah. I can send you. Do you do a newsletter?
I do.
Yeah, I can send you tips every month. Just ask me. Maybe I could have a little corner.
It goes out next Tuesday.
Okay, yeah, just maybe I could have like an insurance talk corner, and I can send you like some tips each month.
That would be fabulous.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
People need to know this, and it's not something you ask about or think about. Who wants to think about insurance? Nobody.
No, it's true. It's true. I even have like a text message board now at the office because I know picking up the phone and calling takes time, so people can just text message me. Hey, I need a quick quote for this property, and I'll do it. So I'm definitely available. I work on the weekends. I make myself available on the weekends because I know that's when you're out showing houses and whatnot. So,
Kyle, do you have any more questions?
No, I'm good. I was just like blown away by the roof and the water leak. I was like, oh my God, wait a second. I got to make sure I have coverage. I have a new home.
I'll share my flow mowing information with you too. It's not a bad idea. California is going to start requiring them just like a smoke alarm. It's all over the place.
And where do they go?
They go on your water main out in front of your house. It's a little box.
Okay. So it detects a leak and then shuts the water off?
So it's hooked up through Wi-Fi and it's an app on your phone. And
so you can turn the water off.
Yeah, it's going to tell you, hey, there's a lot of usage going on in the bathroom number 2. Go check it,
Oh, interesting.
If there's a sudden burst of water, it's going to shut it off.
So are
Nice.
there sensors throughout the
Yeah,
house?
no sensors. It must be some laser or something and going through. I don't even really know. I personally don't have one yet. I need to. I just have
To
not
test
taken.
it out, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, every new policy that I write that the home is 30 years or older, which hello, that's most, they get them. And so
Interesting.
it
Got
is,
it.
yeah, it's just
Good
becoming
to
a
know.
thing. Yep.
Good to know. Well, Darlene, thank you so much.
Yeah,
This was
it's so nice
super
to see you.
interesting.
Yeah,
I nerd out on all this stuff, but it's stuff we have to know because we have
yeah,
to let our clients know and
yeah.
make sure everybody has the information they need. So everybody, you can reach Darlene. You can DM me for her information. She also put it in the chat. And next week, I'm going to bring you the natural hazard disclosure um, president of actually it's my NHD. It's the cheapest one because in a transaction, the buyer needs to see it for their insurance company, and the seller is usually the one that provides that. So it's something everybody needs.
Right
And we're going
on.
to have a cool little app to put on your phone. So when you are house shopping, you'll be able to pull it right up. Now, Darlene mentioned that their maps are going to be different than the maps on the NHD, but you're still going to have a really good idea to get started.
Yeah.
Yes,
Awesome. Well,
that's true.
Darlene,
Very,
thank
very
you.
cool.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Kyle, and nice to see you,
You as
Patty. And I'm
well.
always
You
around,
too.
and I definitely would. I'll try to jump on next week so I can hear about the maps.
Perfect. And we'll see
That'd be
everybody
awesome.
next Thursday.
Okay, have a great
Thank you,
day.
guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Okay, I'm going to stop recording if I can find it.